high energy at work, high support at home, high communication on both sides is what's needed to always feel like you're in balance. So if you feel like you're out of balance right now, ask yourself why. Okay, is it because you're wearing yourself out and your work is wearing you out? If that's the case, that's not a balance issue. That's an energy issue. Take the energy out it and solve it. Hire a person or two, delegate some things, start doing some of the things you love in your business more and have other people do the other things you don't love.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Carrot Cast. Now, the Carrot Cast, we're usually diving in doing interviews with amazing real estate investors, amazing real estate agents. Now, in these episodes, every Thursday, they're the Trevor Truck Talks, where you get to hear behind the scenes of the mindset shifts I'm going through as a CEO of one of the fastest growing companies in America, and the mindset shifts you can take to run your business and win back your freedom as well. Let's dive into this episode.
I'm wrapping up a day at work, long day at work, actually. This is pretty darn abnormal for me. So it's 8:00 p.m., just heading home right now. And I'll tell you guys why here in a second. But in this episode, I want to talk about balance. I want to talk about the illusion of balance. I want to talk about the act of balance in life and just some thoughts that I've had over the past several weeks especially, but I just got off a phone call with my friend Pace Morby, and we were talking about balance as well. So I'm going to be injecting some of that conversation with Pace into this conversation and some exciting stuff. So before I dive into balance, and if you're struggling with balance, if you are an entrepreneur, you're an investor or an agent, you're like, man, I'm hustling my butt off, but I get home and my spouse just wants more of me, and I just feel like I can't build the business and invest the time at home that I want to and that I need to. Or if you feel like you got kind of burnout in business, let's say, and you go dive back, you might feel guilty to dive back into the family side. I'm going to kind of talk about how I deal with that, my mindset on balance, and kind of show you guys an analogy that you guys can find on my Instagram about that too. So the reason I'm heading home late tonight for me is I just got done recording some amazing content for something called the Carrot Summit coming up. So carrotsummit.com. By the time this comes out live, you guys, the page should be up live, but carrotsummit.com, y'all, is our annual, we didn't do it last year, but it's our annual live event, and it's online. 2 years ago, I think we had over 3,000 people had signed up for Carrot Summit. And we, at any given time, we had hundreds and hundreds of people on live on the Carrot Summit, which was so cool and so amazing. So this year, guys, we're going bigger and badder. We're going for 2 full days. I'm talking like 2 full days from about 10 to 12 hours each day. Some of the biggest experts in the entire industry of real estate investing, like Pace Morby, like the Polites, who both of them have A&E shows now on TV. Like so many of our amazing just all-stars at Carrot, Tyler Ford and Bo Hollis and just so many amazing people. And then on the real estate agent side of things, we have so many agents that are going to be on this with us as well. Krista Mayshore, one of the top real estate coaches and just an amazing online marketer on the agent side of things. And the top real estate coach, Mr. Tom Ferry, is closing us out on day 2. And we have tons of hybrid investor agents or agent investors joining us too, guys. It's a completely free summit, carrot.com or carrotsummit.com. You can get the recordings if you want to for $100, just $100 in a pre-event sale. So you get a 50% off discount if you buy the recordings of the event. There's going to be breakout sessions. There's going to be networking opportunities for y'all and some of the biggest, baddest experts there. Tim Brotz, my friend who's built a $400 million multifamily portfolio, walking you through the whole thing. So go check it out, guys. We'll talk more about it. But I want to talk about balance now. So the other day, I saw a post by my friend Pace Morby. And his post was something to the effect of, balance doesn't exist. And I think it's something like when you watch guys like Gary Vaynerchuk, or you watch other people out there. Could be Richard Branson, who kind of has the illusion of he's the opposite of Gary Vaynerchuk, right? Richard Branson works his butt off, but he's out there surfing. He's on his private island, and he's doing a bunch of fun things and playing tennis tournaments and things like that. So you see both sides of it, and you go, man, which one's the right way? Like, what is the right way? And what Pace had posted was, that there is no such thing as balance, meaning when you're in the act of balancing, if you really think about it, I want to send you to my Instagram page. I made my first reel, y'all. I made my first Instagram reel. And my very first reel out of the gate got over 5,000 views in the first few days. And I'm like, whoa, this reels thing is easy. And my second reel has 500 views. So I'll soon you figure it out. But that first one was about balance. And I took a video from a workout that I'd recently done where my coach put me on a balance board, and he basically had a ball in his hand that he threw to me as I was balancing on this balance board. And it looks really hard when you look at it, and it is hard. But I watched that video and I was like, man, this is how I see balance. Okay. Yes, balance itself, where you evenly are in the important parts of your life at the same time constantly. I don't think that is real. Okay. If you want to be amazing at anything, if you want to be an amazing father, you've got to go deep in that side of your life sometimes. If you want to be amazing as an entrepreneur and grow just a killer business, you have to go deep in that sometimes. And by going deep in one area of life, sometimes it means that we have to kind of, lift up a different part of the life of your life and maybe not go as deep during that season. And just like that balance board example, if you go find my Instagram, trevor.mauch, that's trevor.mauch. When the left side of that board goes down, let's just say that that's the work side of life, meaning I'm investing more into the work side in that moment. The right side of that board, which is the everything outside of work side, life, hobbies, everything else, that might kind of go up a little bit, right? Meaning, man, I'm gonna have to kind of do a little bit of give and take where I'm diving deep into work, and it means I'm gonna have to make some sacrifices on things outside of work a little bit. Okay, now that board then eventually gets even again. Okay, it gets back towards even, where you go, okay, I was there for a season, now I'm gonna come back. And I'm more even here. I'm more even on the outside of work life. I'm more even on the work life. And then it goes the other way. Okay. Then the board goes to the opposite direction. And now I'm deeper on the outside of work stuff for that season. And the work part, there might be a little bit of a sacrifice there. Now, what does this look like in real life as an entrepreneur trying to figure things out, and possibly with a family and hobbies and friends? And you might be looking at this going, man, I don't even know what friends or hobbies are anymore, right? Because especially when you have a young family and you have a young business that you're growing, sometimes the first things to go are hobbies, friends, and potentially, in worst case scenario, your health, right? It's the eating well, it's the movement and working out. And I've definitely been guilty of that in multiple seasons throughout my life. And so what I want to throw at you guys is this, is balance. Stop trying to strive for pure, perfect balance where everything is always even at any given time. I think what happens when we try to do that is we really limit ourselves from being great at any of it. We limit ourselves from building something great on the business side by not going deep on it sometimes. I'll give you some examples. We limit ourselves by not being the best father or husband or wife or a mother that we can be, by not going deep on that area of our life sometimes, not just kind of loosey-goosey even, okay? So here's an example. There's a guy named Jesse Itzler, and Jesse Itzler is a guy that I follow a lot. Love that guy. If I were to kind of pick a couple people that are living today to go sit down and have dinner with, I would love to have dinner with Jesse Itzler. He's written a book called Living with the Monks, Living with the Seals. Just such an interesting cat. Go check it out. And Jesse was talking about it a month or so ago as well. He was talking about balance, and he said, same thing. If you want to do anything great, you have to go deep on it. But he added this extra perspective that really helped me a lot. He said, and he built a few big businesses. He built Marquis Jet and sold that to Warren Buffett's company NetJets for a lot of money. He built Zico coconut water and sold that to Coca-Cola. He was literally producing for Run DMC and people like that on the rap side of things. He's part owner in the Atlanta Hawks right now. And his wife is Sarah Blakely, who owns Spanx. Okay, so they're billionaires. And he said every single time he built anything special on the business side, he told his wife, he said, okay, I'm going out of balance for a season. And out of balance for a season might be for 6 months, he said, hey, babe, I'm going to go out of balance for the next 6 months to build this business, to dive into this thing. And he said, what does out of balance look like? For them, what the way they've determined is out of balance for them is it might be where he's working 7 days a week, and maybe it's not taking time away from family every day, but it's he's working 7 days a week, or he's going to be working until 6:30 every single night, and maybe have some nights where he's not, but he's really diving deep. He might be traveling a little bit more during that season, but then he always goes back towards the other side and he says, hey babe, I'm going back towards balance now, the other direction. And now for the next 6 months, I'm just heavily investing into family, and I'm stepping away from that business side because I went so deep on that side over there. Okay. And so where can we do this as entrepreneurs? Where can we give better permission, or not give better permission? Where can we create better expectations and communicate better with our spouses? With our business colleagues, our business partners, the people that are living and working with us every day. If we're going out of balance, we should probably, kind of like Jesse does, have that conversation with our spouse and make sure that spouse is on board. And say, hey, babe, to really build this thing that's amazingly special for the family, I'm going to be going out of balance for the next 6 months. And you gotta stick to that then, right? You can't make out of balance last for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, because then we start to lose that trust from our spouse, right? Our spouse starts to go, well, shoot, they said that they were going out of balance for a year. They're going to work hard on this for a year, but it's been 4. And it doesn't really seem like there's any end in sight. And that person is not the same person that I married or that I started dating. Or on the business partner side of things, maybe you're just like, you know what, I just really want to take a few months off. Or we've got the business to a spot where I want to kind of dial things back a bit for a season, kind of regain my vision, regain that fire. And you might talk to that partner and say, hey, I'm going to go back into and dive deep into family and hobbies for the next 2 months. And I'm going to be working part-time during these next 2 months. And if that's the case, amazing. But don't make it last 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, 12 months. Okay, stick to that commitment. And I think then we start to really build that trust to where anytime we want to go deep on that other side of things, then that trust is there from our spouse or from our business partner. And that's something that I've been working on a lot better as well. And my wife and I have been talking about this too, where I'm going through a season again to where I am going out of balance. I'm going to be going out of balance back towards a little bit more focus on the work side. And the last 1.5 to 2 years, I've been kind of out of balance, probably more towards things are doing amazingly great. Let's keep growing. But in hindsight, I think I was really not as well, deep into work. And I was definitely more over into the non-work side of things, which I'm pumped about. Started taking most of Fridays off, and then started taking, other things here. There took a month off last year in July, and we take a good bit of vacation, which I'm always going to do, even when I'm quote unquote diving deep into work. You have to do that to recharge. But I want to ask you this question: what does balance look like for you? Because in the conversation that Pace and I had today, he said that someone approached him and said, Pace, man, you're going to burn yourself out. You just look like you're so out of balance where you're working so much. And Pace said, you know what? I don't feel like I'm out of balance. I feel like I'm doing pretty darn good. I feel like I'm enjoying my days. I feel like I'm investing deeply in my family. I'm growing my business. I'm capturing this opportunity with really growing my TV show with A&E, and they signed him up for season 2 and season 3. And the guy came back a year later, he said, and the guy hit him up and said, Pace, man, I want to apologize. He goes, I really started working a ton this past year, and I'm really starting to achieve my dreams. And he said, I want to apologize because I was projecting my idea of balance and my idea of how much I wanted to work onto you. And then I was making the assumption that balance for you looked the same as balance for me looked. And I think that's a lesson we can all pull away, guys, that balance is not the same for each person. Okay? It really depends on your spouse. It depends on your business. It depends on you. It depends on your goals and what you want, right? And I've got a friend, Alex Ramosi. Him and his wife, they don't have kids. They both are owners of $100 million a year portfolio of businesses. They just sold a few of some shares in some of the businesses and have $40-50 million in cash. And he went massively out of balance last year. He said, I'm just not going to work. And he pretty much didn't really work much for a year at all. And he said, man, I was miserable. I was miserable because I said, I'm just going to take a bunch of time off. And I think that might, add even more fulfillment. And he said, it actually didn't. The work is where that reward is. Like we've talked about in the podcast before, the work is the reward. If we feel like we're getting burnt out or out of balance, it's probably a time for us to take the energy audit. Go to carrot.com/energy, take that energy audit and figure out how to get more high energy work into your work day. And I think you're not going to feel like you're out of balance when you're working a lot at that point, because you're doing the things that give you energy at that point. We feel like we're out of balance when we're doing work that does not give us energy. It takes our energy away. And then we feel like we're out of balance when we don't set good expectations with our spouse or our business partners and we're letting them down. That's when we feel out of balance. But if your spouse supports you and your spouse is not feeling like you're letting them down and your spouse is supporting where you're going because you guys are in it together and we're communicating it well, you don't feel out of balance there. High energy at work, high support at home, high communication on both sides is what's needed to always feel like you're in balance. So if you feel like you're out of balance right now, ask yourself why. Okay, is it because you're wearing yourself out and your work is wearing you out? If that's the case, that's not a balance issue. That's an energy issue. Take the energy audit and solve it. Hire a person or two, delegate some things, start doing some of the things you love in your business more and have other people do the other things you don't love. Okay, if you feel out of balance to where your spouse is just, your spouse is just telling you work way too much, it might be an expectations thing at that point. If you're getting amazing energy from work and it's lighting you up and you feel like you're just adding so much value to the world, talk with your spouse and really get clear on what you guys both want together. And talk with your spouse and set a time frame when you are going to be out of balance work-wise, and then make the commitment to be back, to be out of balance, then back the other way over towards the family side of things. And make sure that they know that you care, that this is a season. You're going to commit to it being a certain season, and then you're going to invest heavily for another big season back the other way. Now, it doesn't mean that you ignore your work when you're investing heavily in out of work, family, and hobbies. No, heck no, you're still working hard, but it means you're leaning more that way. Doesn't mean that when you're out of balance or investing heavily in the work side, that you're ignoring your family and you're showing up at 8 o'clock at night every night and you're wore out to your family. Heck no. You need to have full energy for your family still by having energy at work, by doing high energy activities that the energy audit will help you do. Okay, but we need to set those guidelines. We need to say, hey, the out of balance for me right now in this season, guys, is every Tuesday or Thursday, I'm probably going to be getting home around 6:30 at night, when usually I'd be home at 5:30 at the latest, okay? At the latest. And I get to the office at 8. I do my workout from 8 to 9, start my work at 9, and grab a lunch midday, things like that. So it's a standard work day, but the majority of most of my work days right now are really, really high energy. So my wife and I had to talk about it. My daughter does gymnastics on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it finishes at 7:30. And so I work until 6:30 or so. Then I might go hang out with a friend or something like that from 6:30 till 7:20. Go grab a beer or just go catch up with someone. Then I go pick up my daughter and come back home, and I'm home just before 8 o'clock. And so that for me, for my wife, is working really, really well in this season. Then we'll change it again soon. So guys, think about balance. How do you want to treat balance in your life? What does balance look like for you? And how can you change the way we're communicating with our spouses, people that work with us, to remove the guilt, add more quote unquote balance to life, and really light you up in all ways? All right, guys, hopefully this episode helped you out. Check out carrotsummit.com and join us. Share the heck out of that too. I want to see 5,000 investors and agents sign up for the summit this time. We've got the bigger guests than ever. Go check out the entire roster. Guys, there's over $1 billion worth of net worth that are going to be on this phone call on those 2 days. And amazing people that are using Carrot to crush it online, that are amazing at business systems, that are amazing at delegating, that are amazing at all different types of things. carrotsummit.com. And if you like this episode, let me know. One little tidbit to end. Talked with Scott Dillinger. He's one of our Carrot clients. He's from Portland, Oregon. He texted me. He's like, dude, I'm going to be in Roseburg today. Are you going to be here? And I happened to be there. And Scott ran by the office for about 30 minutes. We got to hang out. Scott, appreciate you, man. And he gave me some feedback. He just said, man, those truck talks, in the phase I'm at right now with business, building a team and trying to delegate more and really starting to buy back more of that time. He's like, those are the exact things I need to hear. So I appreciate you, Scott, big time, man, giving me that feedback. And guys, you don't have to make it to Roseburg and pop in my office to tell me that feedback. You guys can hit me up on Instagram, trevor.mock. Hit me with the DM. Let me know if you're liking these episodes and what you want to hear. All right, guys, have an amazing rest of the night. I'm pulling into the house now. We will talk soon. See ya.